are in a great journey, a brief sojourn on earth. Men, women, we all are journeying on this brief sojourn. Just like the great entertainer, you will come on set, perform, and go and rest, expecting someone else to perform his own beat. Yes, whatsoever gets hot will definitely get cold. You can't dispute it, just like the law of gravity. If it goes up, definitely will fall down. It must rise. On this note, I welcome you to this wonderful program, wonderful show that you have been expecting, Legend, Life and Times with Francis Okoli. Yes, I'm your brother, I've come again. I'm your captain. I'm your pilot. I am going to drive you into this journey, the Legend, Life and Times. Yes, where are we driving to today? Yes, we are going to the western states, and your guess is as good as mine because we are hitting it there, Abeokuta. Abeokuta is simply under a rock. That is why you see that that state is full of rocks. We have a great rock there, the Olumo Rock. So many rocky parts in the state. There's rock, even behind the leader in our K Palace, you will see rocks there. So that is why they drafted the name Abeokuta. There are so many stories that are behind that name. That is the capital city once in the British colony of Nigeria. Yes, Abeokuta was one in the British colony of Nigeria, now known as Ogun State. And it happens to also be the capital of Ogun State. Where are we hitting? Yes, who is that legend that we are driving to? Yeah, bam, we are getting to the house, and we get to the house of Reverend Israel Oludotun Ransom Kuti, and the wife, Reverend, and the Chief Mrs. Olufumilayo Ransom Kuti. Yes, your guess is as good as mine. Yes, there is a son that we are hitting out today. Though they had four, they had Beko, Olukoye, Dolupo, and Olufela. Yes, we are coming and we are hitting this legend, Olufela Olusegun Oludotun Ransom Kuti. You know that the Abameda. Yes, Abameda simply means a strange being. Is it not a strange being? Is it not a strange being? Somebody that stood on his ground, that fought, the military fought everybody. It's really a strange being. That is why he's known as Abameda. Yes, Abameda, as you know, Fela Olusegun Oludotun Ransom Kuti was born on the 15th day of October in the year 1938 in Abeokuta. You all know that Abeokuta is under the British colony, once a British colony that is now known as Ogun State. Abeokuta is no more news. You know that. You will always know it on Legend, Life and Times. Yes, Fela attended the famous Abeokuta Grammar School. At the Abeokuta Grammar School, he's an indigenous student there. He attended in Abeokuta. But something happened in 1958. He was sent to study medicine, just like his brother Olukoye Abeka. And he was sent to London to study music. But you see, just like the mother, everybody knows that the mother was the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria, and a very colonial activist, feminist, anti-colonial feminist. She stood the ground, she fought. You see where the blood flows. The blood flew onto Olufela, and when Olufela got to London, he didn't study medicine. Olufela went ahead to study music at Trinity Music School, Trinity College of Music, and he specialized in trumpet. That is why he said that most of his songs, he can play trumpet for 15 minutes. He understood the language of music because he studied it. It is Fela that can play for 30 minutes instrumentals without even saying any word. Yes, and when he finished in Los Angeles in Trinity Music School, he formed a band called the Cola Lobitos. Cola Lobitos played a fusion of jazz and the high life. Everybody knows that that is what was reigning then. The high life, the jazz, the blues. So Fela adapted a bit of the high life and the jazz. And because of the kind of trumpet he was playing, and he was there. He returned to Nigeria and he married his wife, the first wife, Oluremilekun Taylor. And they gave birth to Femi, the popular Femi Ransom, Olukoye Ransom Kuti, Yeni, and Shola. He worked briefly as a radio presenter at the NBC, Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. And he played with our famous Victor Olaiya and his All Stars Band. I think that was when Fela was like sharpening his music skills. You know, you have to, that it is not now that everybody just want to blow, you just come out. You have to understudy people. You don't understudy, you will understudy different kind of music, different kind of instrumentals before you now said, okay, you say, I want to form my music, and he formed the Afro beats. So his kind of music, he said, I can't play jazz, I don't want to play jazz, I don't want to play blues, I don't want to play reggae, so I want to play African beats, Afro beats. And he combined Fuji, funk, jazz, high life, salsa, calypso, and traditional Yoruba music. That is how you'll be hearing, even his music, you say, Ayakata, Ofeshelu, Ayakata. He decided to say, okay, let me speak in a pidgin language that we cut across Africa, cut across the world, because I think the pidgin language is a little bit understandable than the Yoruba, the Igbo setup, and the rest of it. Okay, let me play my music and call it Afrobeat. And that is where it started. You know so many of it. Fela really was very great. In 1969, he took his band to USA, the United States of America, and played almost everywhere. He played in USA for 10 months. And in Los Angeles, he was there all over. You know, he studied in London. He had connections. He was playing all over with his band. And it was very nice. And he came back after 10 months. And, you know, the kind of, you know, it was the military era. It was the kind of government he was against. He really was not happy with the military rule. They were not practicing democracy. He was really not happy. And he said, oh, I don't want to be in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I don't want to be part of it. I want to stay on my own. And that was why he formed the Kalakuta Republic. Kalakuta Republic. Some of us that lived there that knew how it was between Ojuelegba, Moshalashi, and Yaba. You know what really happened in Kalakuta Republic? I think that was where they called the empire. It's a different world, a different kind of being. But the surprising thing there is that most of the people that were there were educated. I think graduates from UNILAG, all over Africa, the world, they came to Kalakuta, they came to a republic that is separate from Nigeria. I think they were practicing a lot of things. You know what can happen in a shrine? He had an African shrine. You and I know what can happen in a shrine. That big thing that they were like, puffin, I don't want to mention it. There were like so many things that were practiced there with so many women, so many boys that found home in Kalakuta Republic. And you know, there was a hotel there and the African shrine, and he just said, oh, how can I be bearing Olufela Ransom Kuti? Ransom sounds like the name of a slave. He said, no, get out. He removed Ransom from his name. And he said, I prefer to be called Fela Kuti. And he now said, oh, Fela Kuti. Why don't you just put it Anikulapo Kuti. Anikulapo means someone that has death in his pocket. And he said, Fela Anikulapo Kuti. That he could decide when he could die. He decides his death, you know, because, you know, the kind of belief he really had then. And that was how he began his journey. Everybody knows that Fela didn't just take his time. You remember he sang "Zombie, oh zombie." That really caused him problem. Zombie no go unless you tell him to go. Zombie, zombie, oh zombie. So when they were interpreting it, I think it was interpreted that the Nigerian army was the zombie was referring to. That when they say, you know, when they are on march parade, go, go, go. So that is the way Fela was really there. He was not afraid. He was saying it. He was a man of his word. He stood his ground, and he really sang it in his songs. So he said, "Zombie no go unless you let them to go. Zombie, zombie, oh zombie." Ha! And you know, we were really in the military junta, and they said, "What? Who is this bloody civilian?" You know the terminology of the army. This bloody civilian that is talking about us, go! And they sent a whole battalion, 1,000 soldiers, to the Kalakuta Republic. You want to know what happened to Kalakuta Republic? Yes, I will tell you when we come back, because this program cannot be possible if Nokpa Herbal Bitters, Nokpa Herbal Cool, Nokpa Blood Tonic didn't come to our aid. This program is being sponsored by Nokpa Products, Nokpa Herbal Products. You too can be part of this. You too can be part of it. You know our reach. Wisdom Yard Television cuts across the whole globe. Anywhere, anytime, you can watch us. You can still play and watch us. When you subscribe to Wisdom Yard Television, you will get it. So Nokpa is part of it. Nokpa really sponsored it. Nokpa brought to you Legend Life and Times. Let us see what they have there. Let us see the product they have there. Let us see what Nokpa has.
Sweetheart. I can't afford to be late for this meeting.
Gave me the same excuse every day.
I always tell you the truth every. You know I will never disappoint you.
Everyone needs a hero like Nokpa.
After Nokpa,
It is always Nokpa.
Nokpa for management of power.
Yes, welcome back to Legend Life and Times with Francis Okoli. Yes, as I was telling you, I told you that in 1977, Fela released Zombie. When the army heard, they say you are calling us zombie, we will show you that we are really zombie. And they brought 1,000 soldiers, I think that is a battalion, and they descended on the Kalakuta Republic. Yes, you know what a soldier can do, a battalion can do to a republic. They leveled the republic, destroyed the shrine, destroyed everything, beat him black and blue. He claimed, I was not there, I didn't witness it. He claimed that they beat the mother and they threw the mother out of the window, and that resulted to the death of the mother. And this really didn't go well with Fela. Fela released another song, Unknown Soldier, that, I think that was how the Nigerian army don't have tags on their junior officers. It's a speculation. I think I'm guessing that because he said that they should produce the unknown soldiers, and the army said that it was unknown soldiers that they couldn't identify. But you know that the Nigerian police force, they have tags for their officers, the Navy has and the Air Force has, but the Nigerian army, the junior officers, but the senior officers has one, they put tags there, but not the junior officers. I think that was what brought about the unknown soldier thing. And he sang it. He said, "Then kill my mama, then kill my mama, then kill." He was crying in the music. And he said, "Then come talk to say, now unknown soldier." He was not really happy. He fought them. He fought them with the music. He descended on them because he claimed that they beat his mother, that they threw his mother from the window, which resulted to the death of his mother. And he was not really happy. Instead of now keeping quiet, because the mother was Olufuma and Kuti, the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria. You can see how influential, how popular they were, and they really didn't. They burnt down. So he claimed, and they said they burnt down the Calcutta Republic, beat everybody, scattered everything, and they later went to put up in a crossroad hotel. And but something happened. He said the government were claiming that he was like kidnapping women. You know, women flocked around him. Graduates, educated ones, not riffraffs. You can hear, if you hear what the language, the languages, if you hear them speak, you'll be surprised. How can these people be staying here? They are not homeless. They flocked around him. They went anywhere to his concert with him. Those were the women. If you watch Fela video, they were dancing. They were women that used to dance, paint all over, dance. Educated women, beautiful women. And he said, the government said that he was kidnapping them. And he said, no, this is why I'll cover you. And on the same day, in 1978, he married 27 of them. A man marrying 27 women at the same time, claiming to cover them, that when they bear the name of Kuti, I think they're like covered. I think that was what brought about he was not really relenting. He was playing the live performances of Zombie all over. But Ghana government banned him. They said, no, don't come to this country. You are very, very vulgar and everything. And at that time, some of his members are like, well, why is this guy also always attacking the federal government? He has an ambition. And of a truth, so many members left because in 1978, he formed a movement. He wanted to contest for presidency, the Movement of the People, MOP. But you know now, government said this guy, he cannot even win a councillorship seat. We will truncate his ambition. And he didn't see the light of the day, and he even lost his members. But in 1983, he said, oh, what do I do? He still came back and nominated himself as a presidential candidate of his party. They said, no, they didn't even register him. They didn't even do screening, no. This guy that is attacking us, when he now become a president, what will he? No. The ambition was killed even before it started. And that was the end of his presidential ambition. Was the end of his target to governance and the rest of it. That is when Nigeria wanted to enter into democracy, a democracy that was truncated again by the era of Mohamed Buhari, General Mohamed Buhari then, and you know what happened then? They took over power, but he didn't relent. He sang, you know, so many of us don't know the meaning of ITT because Fela gave us another meaning. Fela said ITT was like international thief. It was really ITT Corporation, but you know, and his own brother, Moshood Kashim Abiola, was the vice president. No, he stood against them. He abused them because he said they did fraud, telecommunication fraud. They embezzled money with his brother to Olusegun Obasanjo. He fought them with his sons. He didn't really relent. And after 20 months, they arrested him. General Buhari arrested him, locked him up. He spent 20 months. That is barely more than 1 year. 20 months in the prison, and I think that was almost 1.5 years. And he was there in the cell. He didn't relent. He was resolute. He didn't break down. And IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, you know, he came to power and released him. But IBB also got his own share of his own stroke, because it was then he sang. Animal they wear agbada, animal they put on suits, animal they go because IBB, you know, he was the head of state. He now said he was the first head of state military that claimed to be president. I said no, bam. Animal they put on suits, animal they wear agbada. He didn't stop there. IBB was like, look at this guy, was, you know, Fela as he will be. He didn't really. It was not only Nigerian government that got the whip, from Fela. You remember, he released one song, Beast of No Nation. He really swept, he really dealt with the president of USA, Reagan then, I think Ronald Reagan then, the great farmer, and he swept on Margaret Thatcher too, and he swept on William Botha. You know Botha. Botha, the man behind the apartheid that really dealt with Mandela. Not only Mandela, not only black Africans, any black, even Indians, black, he really dealt with them. He believed in white. In South Africa, they carved a white corner. It was really stigmatization. They really dealt with the black, and you know, so many people lended their voices. Fela really sang and swept on them, and really didn't take it easy with them. You know, that animal they were, brother, went on tough, and Fela was, this guy is just so resolute, he's stubborn. Yes, his works. He released Fela in 1970, then Fela London Sin in 1971, Why Black Men Do Suffer in 1971 also, Open and Close, 1970, Napoi, 1971, Shakara Ole Oje. If you tell him, he released it in 1972. Rofo Fight, Aphrodisiac in 1973. Rofo Fight in 1972. Gentleman in 1973. Alagbon Close in 1974. Noise for Vendor, Igbo Lenu Vendor, his interpretation of Yoruba, this in 1975. Confusion everywhere. What do they come from? West. You know, he used the analogy. You know, Jelegba was a very popular roundabout that has like 4 different passages, and he said that when the vehicles come in the middle, there's confusion everywhere because there will be gridlock there. He just, you know, he's poetic. Fela with his analogy. Somebody that read music, somebody that understood instrumental, somebody that understood the lyrics. He really coined the lyrics to suit his music. And you could dance to his music, and you could sit down and listen. This man is being prophetic. He's hitting at something. Not this music that we hear nowadays that really is not saying anything reasonable. You can play Fela's song and that is still in tune of what is happening presently. He released Confusion in 1975. Everything scatter. No, scatter. That is in 1995. Expensive Shit, 1975. He miswrote in 1975. Unnecessary Begging in 1976. Kalakuta Show in 1970s. Upside Down. You know, his music was just there. Upside Down in 1976. Ikoyi Blindness in 1976. Before I Jump Like Monkey, Give Me Banana. You know, it's a satire. He knows where it was hitting, and he was not feared. He was not fearful. He was resolute. He was not relenting at what he was doing. He sang Escuso, Yellow Fever, 1976. Zombie, oh zombie, as I told you. Zombie don't go unless you tell him to go. That really caused the problem that they destroyed all his Kalakuta Republic. Stillman, so let me sorrow, tears and blood. That is in 1977. Suffering and Smiling. You know, he's talking about the common man, the average man that are actually suffering and smiling. Unknown Soldier. You remember that time I told you released it? That how can they say that it's Unknown Soldier? They kill my mama, then kill my mama. Then come talk to say, now Unknown Soldier. That was in 1979. ITT, International Thief in 1980. Music of Many Colors. He collaborated with Roy Ayers. I think that was in 1980. Authority Stealing. You know now, people that use pen to change 20 naira to 20,000, change 20,000 to 20 million. It really hit at them. And you know they were like stealing with pen. They were not stealing with gun. Authority Stealing. Original Sufferhead, yes, for the poor masses in 1981. Perambulator in 1983. Army Arrangement 1985. I Go Shout Plenty 1986. Teacher Don't Teach Me Nonsense. And I think in 1986, Peace of No Nation, the one I said he hit the foreigners, the US government, the British government, the South African government. And there was one that he really hit ODOO. Overtake, don't overtake. Some of you that really knew that song, ODOO, 1990. Overtake, don't overtake. and he released Underground System, Lagos Baby, 1963. He has live albums, live with Ginger Baker, Johnny Just Draw, Vagabonds in Power, live in Amsterdam, live in Detroit. Then he did a compilation of music, the best of Fela, that is, they were like gathering it, the Underground Spiritual Game. Fela, the beast of black men and there. Yes, Fela really was a great activist. He traced now, the mother too was an anti-colonial activist. He was not a bastard. He was really the one that they called the son of the soil. King Shomwale. He was not a bastard. He got it, the blood flows. He was one kind of a legend that really did not mind sweat, did not compromise, did not take anything from anybody, and did not give a damn. Yeah, I think in 1997, something happened. I don't know, but his own brother claimed that he was HIV positive and he was suffering from that disease, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, and he was positive and he was suffering. He was in the hospital, and as it will have it, he died on the 2nd day of August 1997 in Lagos at the age of 58 years. That was when the life of a legend got truncated. The one that said he has death in his pocket died. The death that was in his pocket came out and took him away. He was buried in Kalakuta Cemetery in Ikeja. And today, the Egypt 80 is carried along by his son. His son. Egypt 80, it was so funny, they didn't disband. They were there. Kuti is carrying it up, and Femi, his son too, is also leading another group, saxophone, took after his father, playing all around. What a family. It's one family, Reverend Father. The same family, Chief Mrs., the first woman to drive a car in Nigeria, an anti-colonial activist. The same family has one minister of health, former minister of health in Nigeria. The same family has a legend, a great musician that if they write the stories, if the story of music is being written in Nigeria and Fela is not mentioned, the story is not complete. What a family, the Ransom Kuti family. He was buried in Kalakuta Cemetery, and that was the end of a great man. You remember we traveled to Abeokuta, the house of Olukoye, the family of Olufela Ransom Kuti, the great legend that so many people didn't really know what we are telling you, because his story has not been sung as we are expecting. He's a great Pan-Africanist, he's a great fighter, he's a great warrior. He didn't fight with sword, he didn't fight with gun, he fought with intellectuals, he fought with his songs, he stood his ground, didn't collect bribe, didn't go and say, oh, let me dance to this corner. He stood his ground even unto death. Yes, Legend Life on Style brought to you Fela Olukoye Ransom Kuti, the Abameda. Till we meet again to talk about and travel to somewhere else to meet or talk about a living or dead legend, I still remain your brother, your friend, your anchor, your driver, your pilot, your coach, Francis Okole. See you.